The Wild Robot is the new film from DreamWorks Animation. Stars Lupita Nyong'o as the voice of the robot. Alan, tell me the story of The Wild Robot.
Far into the future on a dystopian Earth, ravaged by environmental and climate change disasters, a cargo ship crashes in a forest. And in that ship is one surviving robot named Roz, voiced by Lupita Nyong'o. She awakens. She is basically a household robot. She is given tasks, and she completes those tasks. And when she wakes up, there's no one to give her tasks. There's animals running around her trying to steal her parts. And she tries to shoo them off. She tries to understand them. And at one point during her frenetic existence, she accidentally kills a mother goose and her eggs, all but one egg. And here feels obligated to raise this gosling. And with the help of Fink the fox, portrayed by, of course, Pedro Pascal, they go on this adventure to raise this gosling and teach the gosling how to eat, how to fly, and then how to migrate. I think that's the three.
Yeah.
Okay. And to rejoin the rest of her, the flock. And this movie is essentially a story of family, of a family that an unlikely family, and it's also a story of friendship. And I will say this is from Chris Sanders, who brought us Lilo and Stitch. The movie is very simple, and I like that, especially for kids. The other thing is the art design in this movie is beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's kind of like pastel paintings.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way everything is drawn. You can kind of see it in the poster here. Disney's Wish tried to be a 2D cartoon with 3D tools. It tried to be stylistic and have this incredible art design. It failed on every measure. This movie succeeds where Disney's Wish failed. Again, it's a very simple story. I think the first half of the movie, you've kind of seen it before. It's a robot, a very naive robot who knows nothing about nature, trying to teach a gosling how to fly. Seems fairly familiar. But then when the robot attack occurs, that's when it really becomes this really wild roller coaster of a story.
Yeah, please don't go any further.
I will go into those details.
Like the second half of the movie. You don't really see much of that in the trailers, and I appreciate it. I'll tell you this. I really love this film. It's very sweet. It's a parental story. The robot becomes something of a mother, to
actually learns to become a mother.
She learns to become a mother, basically admitting, I don't know what being a mother is, but learns to become a mother. And it's inspired by a children's book.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it's based on. And my God, it's so good. It's got all those elements of a heartfelt, simple story. There's nothing. Now, you don't really learn much about the world, except there's been some, it's not preachy is what I'm trying to say. There's nothing preachy about this movie. It's a very simple story. Those kind of stories, I'm going to be honest, really hit me when they are about parental relationships to kids. Like, it gets me in the feels. I saw the film with my daughter. She loved it. I loved it. People were getting choked up. It was a packed screening. Where the Disney has failed, this movie soars. It's so good. And the ending's such a good payoff. I don't even know what the running time was. It didn't feel overly.
I'm pretty sure it's an hour and a half.
Yeah, it felt just right. But and the voice and the sort of strangeness of this robot learning to have some aspects of humanity, finding not only humanity but being a parent and what that means. And I don't want to get into it because the second half is where a lot of the stuff happens.
Yeah, and I really like that second half.
Yeah, the second half is so good.
It's so out there. but it works
Yeah,
so
yeah.
beautifully. I'll say this. What was I going to say? Yeah, now I lost it. The here, let me share. So this is what. Okay,
You're malfunctioning like
I
a
am
robot,
malfunctioning.
Alan. Malfunctioning, Alan. Malfunctioning, Alan.
Yeah, there is there's this realism to this movie. It takes place in nature, amongst the circle of life, where there are predators and there are prey, and it doesn't hold anything back.
Yeah.
There's just side eye death that occurs in this movie that is so funny, and it's so real because that's especially when the possum family. That's the only thing I'll say about it.
Oh, I love the possum.
That moment was hilarious, and it was
Yeah.
tragic. It was tragic and hilarious. I'll say this: I don't know about your screening, but there were a lot of children at my screening. Children were just eating this up.
Yep.
This movie is for kids. Take your kids to see this movie. Also, this movie is cute as hell. When children weren't reacting, it was the adults with the aw.
No. But also, it is for children, but adults will not be bored.
Yeah.
They're really good and universal themes. No one, I mean, this movie is not. It's not Disney. Let's say that. It's not Disney.
DreamWorks.
The thing is this, Disney can't do Disney anymore.
Right.
Whereas Disney was a trusted brand to tell universal stories. Disney cannot do that now.
Yeah, let's put it this way.
Succeeds.
Chris Sanders created Lilo and Stitch, an original property. He made them a lot of money from the movie and from the TV show. And Disney let him go, and now DreamWorks has the guy, and he makes this movie.
Yeah.
The other, I'll say this as something you'll never see in an animated feature, but I mentioned the realism before about the death, but also what happens to Roz over time. There are things that you would say to yourself, well, if I was a robot living in the woods, what if this happens? What if that happens? All of that happens, and Roz finds a way to. It's not like she's a super robot that can repair herself completely. She has to make do. She has to improvise.
Yeah,
the
robot ages, you would say,
she
ages and becomes a victim to the environment because it's out in the wilderness.
And all that pays off at the end. Let's just put it that way. It's a beautiful story. I think kids are going to love it. Highly recommended.
Yeah. So, I same. I recommended probably one of the best animated movies of the year, and really fantastic.
Yeah. Definitely better than Inside Out 2, and that one made a billion enough.
Better than Inside Out 2, for sure. And I did get choked up at the end.
Yeah,
I get choked up when it comes to father, any sort of parent to a child. I get choked up.
Yeah,
and you may too. So kids and adults will love it. I think we both strongly recommend.
Yes.